today outside of Lyons Classic Pinball in Lyons, Colorado. This small town is home of one of the best public pinball collections in the entire country. Kevin Carroll's invited us inside to check it out today, so why don't you follow me? We'll walk around and take a look at the games. Lyons Classic Pinball is a two-story building with over 40 pinball machines lined up in every possible location. The games all play well and are kept up and running by Kevin, his wife, and a small crew of local technicians. The breadth of the games is as diverse as the people that you're going to bump into while playing them. During our visit, Lyons Classic Pinball had a number of A titles like Twilight Zone, Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, Addams Family, Medieval Madness, all taking quarters right alongside Dolly Parton, Hang Glider, Bonsai Run, Split Second, and of course, a game that's a matter of local pride, Kismet. In addition to filming some of the games at Lyons Classic Pinball, the owner, Kevin Carroll, was also kind enough to invite us up to his home on one of the many nearby mountains for an interview and a chance to check out his private collection as well.
Actually, when we did get into pinball, we looked back in our heads and we were like, hey, we went to Florida once as like 20-somethings, the two of us together, and we went to like Disney World and MGM and Universal. And by the third day, I was like, we both never wanted to stand in a line again, sit in a room and have wind blowing at us while we watch a movie, and then get up and move to another room. So what we realized is we like doing stuff. We like being the ones doing it, not having stuff done to us. So we ended up spending the next 5 days, I think. Right next to our thing was a little go-kart track. So we'd go and race these little go-karts, and then we'd go play the Black Lagoon pinball machine. And we just were addicted. We just would do that every night. We forgot all about it. So now years later, I'm being the whiny person saying, you know, you didn't think of anything. So I come home from a motorcycle, a dirt bike ride one day with my brother, and I noticed, I think it is my birthday, or it's around my birthday, and there's a bunch of cars in the driveway, and I'm like, okay, there's a party going on, here we go. So we go in, and I'm like, you know, filthy from riding and stuff. I see her going, hey, let me take a shower, I'll come down. And so I come down, and at a certain point we had ping pong and foosball in the basement, you know. And it was a gorgeous day, it was Saturday or something. And I'm like, they're like, oh, let's go play foosball. And I'm like, I said, really? Why don't, maybe a couple guys come down with me and we could drag it out on the deck or something. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. And I knew it just felt weird. I started piling my way down the steps, and everyone's piling down behind me.
You're like, that's
and I get down there, and things are moved around. I go, what happened in my room? You know, in the corner is a monolith with a blanket or something like that over it. It was obvious what it was. It was a pinball machine, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, it's a pinball machine. She goes, go see what pinball machine? I don't care what pinball machine. I literally teared up. First time ever, by getting a gift or anything, I was just like, oh my God, you know. So I go take it off, and I'm a huge Kiss fan from when I was young, and it's a Kiss pinball machine. I'd never played one back in the day, but I didn't care what it was just blown away by it. And like I said, what had gotten us into thinking about getting a pinball machine was playing at Oscar Blues. And we were playing Monster Bash, and we had no idea what was supposed to happen in the game, and a lot of it didn't work. It was a bad sight game, you know, but we didn't know that. And then even as we got into it, I would notice, I would look at some of these websites, and I never posted on anyone, but I would read a little bit. And these guys are, oh, don't talk about Monster Bash, talk about a real machine, blah, 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 or something. I go, oh, so these guys that know stuff say Monster Bash is a bad machine. And that stuck in my head. That was a bad thing to have stuck in my head, because it's a great machine, right? You know? And what I learned is, don't take anyone's opinion on a pinball machine. Pinball machines are like music. I love this song, you hate this song. I'm not going to convince you different. You're probably not going to convince me different.
Different styles of players or different styles of machines.
Owning the shop, what I've noticed is people is going to contests. People come in and they say, do you have skill pool? This is the best game ever. And I say, it's not the best game ever, but it is to you, because you played it at your local fill in the blank. And they go, yeah, we played it at the bowling alley every week. That's why it's a great game. That's the one you learned on. That's your baby. That's your first game or whatever. It's the first one you learned what to do, and you did it over and you could win games. That's what makes someone love a game.
When you're not hanging out at Lyons Classic Pinball, there are plenty of other places to check out around town. Whitewater Course and Meadow Park in Lyons, Colorado. If you're into pinball and an outdoorsman, this is the place to be. There are amazing spots for kayaking and fishing, as you can see behind me, and hiking and biking all around the area.
Coming to you live from Chicago, it's the World Whirly Bowl Championship. There will be billiards, darts, sports, and more, but there will be whirly ball.
Guys, I've never been so excited here. Why don't you run down the rules for all the different players we have here?
The rules of whirly ball are to throw the ball into the hoop, or drive around in a bumper car, or perhaps stand up in a bumper car and see whether the seatbelt is working. But there is some sort of a mix here between basketball and driving.
And
we're off! Oh my goodness.
Looks like it's heading right for John Raplogo off into the corner.
Raplogo boxes it right there.
Look at this fast-paced action here in Chicago.
Flips it over to
There's going to be a shot.
Here comes a big shot. And that's Anastasia passes the Tinker.
Oh my gosh.
And the ball is stuck.
The ball is gone.
Stuck in a car.
The ball's
Oh,
lost.
the humanity. That will be a 2-point penalty to the red team.
Oh man, that's the reaction when he got that 2-point penalty.
Looks like Larry DeMar.
As Larry DeMar has it, he's headed down. Now, Larry invented whirly ball.
He's got a blocker.
Along with Mo and Curly.
Larry's a whirly ball court.
There's a pass to Gruff. Oh, and Gruff nails the backboard. That's worth 0.
Bone picks it up and flings it to the off the
ceiling. That will be another 2-point penalty.
Pass. Just what luck.
Black now leads 4-0. Here's Larry with a long shot. Larry to Damon.
Off the back.
Oh, it's
defense. I've never seen such defense.
It's blocked by Augenstein. Can you believe it?
Never even.
Tamar with man-to-man defense from Karen's.
Another long pass.
Gives it over to Grubb. Oh, it's given away.
Karen Bones takes it with a long pass.
Oh, that's a good pass there.
Here it comes. Oh, a miss.
Strong
Bill
shot there.
Cedar.
You got.
Shoots, he scores.
That's gonna end it here in Chicago.
You got Belcedoed.
The player grasps the knob and pulls back the plunger, thereby compressing the spring. When the knob is released, the spring shoots the rod back into the machine at high speed. The rubber end strikes the ball, and the ball is kicked up a ramp and onto the playfield. By controlling the distance, the plunger is drawn back before release. One controls the location on the playfield to which the ball will be sent. The further the plunger is pulled out, the greater the rebound force and the faster the ball will be shot.
I was actually playing to someone I was playing Bonsai Run the other day. I was going do 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 do. I'm like, what tune is that? And he's like, oh, it's familiar. And he's trying to think of a band, you know. And he knows Bonsai. He plays it all the time. So because when I play the game, I would think of what's in baseball and counts, and you know, baseball's a slower game and stuff.
Does the ball move between these holes here? I'm assuming it does. It's I mean, how?
Well, load one up.
Okay.
Give a full plunge all the way and get on the sides of the machine if you can.
All right.
And then just kind of nudge very lightly. You want it to go dead center if you can. Just let it hit. A little more. You can still do it. Yeah. Okay, so you got a ball. Plunge.
Okay.
Keep going. Really.
Okay.
Yep. Good hard shot. That's the one thing that messes up a little. Yeah.
Get in there.
Good full plunge and then just
Get up there.
Very light. No, you're not playing yet.
Get over. Oh no. Straight.
But
Give me a hit. Give me a hit.
one out.
Oh, and it
Dumps
drops.
the count.
It drops the count.
Just like it would in a ball game. Here's the next batter.
Yeah, I'm addicted.
I can't believe you haven't got a run yet. My mom, literally, she's 82 years old when she came out and visited us. She loved this, and she ended up getting every ball as a run. There you go.
All right.
Base.
Oh,
Isn't that sweet?
that is so cool.
Go forget your worries for a little bit. Get into the world of what's underneath that piece of glass. So even as primitive as this is, it did that. You're playing baseball.
This reminds me a little bit of playing an Atari game. You know, back whenever you were playing Adventure or one of those things, and your guy's just like a little square pixel, and you know the game may not necessarily show you the best graphics or anything like that, and sometimes that's a good thing because it's in here, and what's in here is more spectacular than anything that you can put up on an LCD or plasma screen.
Right. Gene Cunningham was there giving a seminar talking about Big Bang Bar, and we're sitting there with maybe 100 people in that room. And he says, what if I was to remake Big Bang Bar? After giving this big talk about the game, how many would want that? And my wife's hand goes up, and I pull her hand down, and I'm like, what are you doing? We've never even played this thing. She goes, it looks really cool. And I'm like, yeah. And then so he pulls off the cover of one of the originals that he bought for 25, 30 grand or something, and he says, you'll get to play it in the hall for Make-A-Wish Foundation, $3 a play or something. I'm like, cool, we'll get to play it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to like it. And
That's a commitment.
I really didn't want to like it. And we got to it when we got in line, once we got in there and started playing. And they had it turned real low. It's something I don't like. I like pinballs to be loud. I want to hear everything. And I said, Carol, get up by the speaker and tell me what it's saying. So as I'm beating the ball around, and I'm not a good player now. I really wasn't a good player then. And I was having one of those games that people started gathering around, and I was making everything happen. The dancer was going, all this stuff was happening. I was just having this couldn't lose the ball game. And I'm telling her, what's it saying? She goes, it's saying harder. I'm like, what? It's saying a little to the left, a little to the right. I'm like, no way. She's like, we gotta have it.
biggest fish I ever saw.
Something to be said for the hardcore players that know that, well, the top 10 games are this, and because of this, this, and this. It doesn't really mean anything to the in-between player.
No, it really doesn't.
If he likes, I tell people, they go, which one do you like? It doesn't really matter. I go, right now I like Strikes and Spares and Bonsai Run, and you know, if I could only own one, it would probably be Kiss, just like you, because that's the first one I had, and that's kind of pinball to me. Even though I love Medieval Madness, even though I love my Big Pinball, I love these other games, if I really only had to own one, maybe it is that first one that got me going. So I've addicted and created collections on Creature from the Black Lagoon alone. I say pinball, there's like, these are deep roll sets, all these geeky guys away know this stuff, and I go, but I'm gonna show you the basics of this game, and what's cool is when I walk away, it's still there. I said, okay, you see this? Okay, right above it says Spell Kiss, and it's right in line with that kiss shot. See that dirt line right going down there? That's your shot, and that's what does it. If you shoot it in there 4 times, it gives you a kiss, but we can do it on the skill shot, so I show them that. And the next one, look, it's right in line with the shot. Look, it's right in line with those shots, and look, just one more shot over there. Your spell film, these are going to be flashing. Obvious, shoot one of those flashing shots. That's when you're going to get to see the creature. That's when you're going to get to use this really cool ramp that you've been staring at and not getting to use.
Yeah.
So when I give them that, and I say, let me give you 4 free games, and I boom, boom, 4, 6 free games, especially when it's a couple or 2 people, help each other. Tell them what to go for, what I just told you. It's all still there. Once we did fill the house, we got rid of the foosball, got rid of the ping pong, everything was full, and I'd say, you know, say we had a couple over, we're gonna go to dinner or something, and I'd be like, you guys wanna go down and play some pinball for a little bit first? And pinball. And then you get them down, and they're all working games as well, everything's working good and everything, and they're like, and after about 5, okay, we're going, oh yeah, just one more game, and you're like, we just addicted them. We just got the. There weren't too many people that really didn't take. I mean, some people, but not. Most of them like to play a game. Yeah. So I was like, I wonder if we. I said, Tim Arnold's got 400 games, and I've got 21. But 21 is more than I've ever seen in one spot anywhere around here. And so I was like, I just kept thinking, took our collection down to town and tried to get other people into it. And I kept saying it, and I was disillusioned with my job. I was like, it was freezing cold, even though I was the boss, running people. I still was out there working.
What did you used to do?
I was a plumber.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I had a whole 10-plex right at the end of Boulder here to do that winter, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
So when was the moment that your shop down in Lyons happened? When did?
It was about 2 years into the collecting, and it was looking at that collection down there and wanting more. Wanting to find a reason to be able to get more.
Where can I find more space?
And where can I find more space? And just realizing that, I would love to turn the world back onto this. I think this is the coolest thing until it's put in front of you, all working, and then actually knowing what to do. Those 2 things are what I didn't see out there, and didn't see them out there anymore. If you go to a Chucky, whatever arcade or these places, you might see one Stern, or you used to, at least when we got into it 10 years ago.
How many times have you walked into a Tilt arcade and there's no pinball?
I've heard that. I don't know. We don't have any here, but I just heard about it. There's a place called Tilt. I go, Tilt? Do they have pinball? No.
The people working at the desk don't even
know what that means, what that is. I thought, okay, I'll just try and run a real small space that's really cheap. If I put 10 games, I could fit 10 games in this room. If I get 5 guys to come in and spend $5 a night, I mean, I was really just seeing if it could eke by.
Just trying to scrape it by.
And then she said, you're never going to do this unless you quit your job. Well, we have this much in savings and it'll last us this long. And she goes, so if you're going to do it, you should just do it. And I was like, no, because I was like a curmudgeon at the time who was like, no, very careful and everything. Just her planting that seed in my head. And then 2 weeks later, having a bad day at work and realizing this thing, and I just went into my office and I said, I'm quitting. And they laughed and they said, no, you're not. I said, no, I am. They're like, oh, what happened? I said, nothing happened, nothing bad. It was just, I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? And I go, something in pinball.
various circuit events, and people ask us, hey, where'd you get that camera rig? Well, we actually bought all the parts online and assembled them. We got most of our parts from the Georgia Import and Trading Company online, although I'm sure there's other stores that you can find them at. Now, it should be known that we're using this rig for something it is not intended to do, and that's hold a camera. So if you choose to build one of these, do so at your own risk. So this is the base piece of it. It comes in two sizes. It comes in an 18.5 and a 24-inch base. 18.5 is going to be good enough for just about everybody else's use. For PAPAtv though, we went with the 24-inch base just because it's a little bit bigger and a little more durable. It should be noted though that we did have to get it custom modified. We had to get some cut off because the base wouldn't fit between two pinball machines. So just know if you buy the larger size that you're going to have to modify it somewhat. It comes with, this piece is referred to as a 2-inch nipple. And a screw. This is what's basically going to hold your camera mast. This goes on pretty simply. So then the next part of it is a telescopic pole, which will slide right onto the nipple like that. This also comes in a 1.5-inch pole. Once again, we went with the larger one just to make it more sturdy and more durable for all the travel it's going to have to endure. On top of that, we have a Gibraltar 90-degree clamp. So the next part of the assembly is actually a microphone stand. This specific one is an on-stage microphone stand. So you take your Gibraltar clamp and you just simply insert. This connection here is a 5/8 connection. We basically need to get that to a 1/4 inch to mount the camera. So we couldn't find a direct 5/8 to 1/4 inch. So what we do is we take the 5/8 to 3/8, and then we have another adapter that'll take us 3/8 to 1/4. At the end of that, we put our Petco ball mount for the camera. And what this enables you to do is move the camera up or down or adjust it as needed so that you can get the perfect angle on your play field. Altogether, this entire assembly should cost you under $200 in parts plus shipping to wherever you live. Once again, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, should you assemble one of these and it falls apart on your LED'd out, blinged out Medieval Madness and destroys your $20,000 baby, well, that's your own fault.
Now let's do a serious one. Maybe don't lean back me. I'm standing up. There you go. That's good. Both serious. Okay, chin up a little bit, sir. Okay, now big smiles.
Page 111. The pinball wizard stands spread-eagled, body straight and tilted forward slightly, supported by arms that are relaxed but alert against the blinking, ringing contraption before him. Every few minutes, a loud, solid click can be heard, each one indicating the award of another free game. Sometimes, these clicks can come in cascades, several in a short time, and the wizard smiles. Nevertheless, persevering his rapt attention to the ever-changing trajectory of the small, shining orb dancing beneath his gaze.
Alright, let's do this! We're here at Rocky Mountain National Park, just down the road from Lyons, Colorado. We're going to take you on a drive through the park and see the mountains and hopefully some wildlife along the way.
jailbird. Simple.
Very cool.
I feel like I know what to look for as far as what can be brought back to life. Can I necessarily always be the one to do it? No, but I'll get my guy into it to get me to the point where, okay, got me past what I don't know how to fix, then the rest of it I can do. As far as tearing it apart, putting it back together, I can do. Troubleshooting sometimes is still an issue for me. I always say I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm lucky I have a guy like Tom to be able to get me through the stuff that I just will never be able to do. If I see it 4 or 5 times, I know. If you hit your flipper buttons on your dot matrix game, your creature, and it goes down, I know it's bridge rectifier number 2. And I can tell you how to fix it over the phone. I've done that. I've had that done for me, and I've done that with people. It was a slow, that'd be like some nights with like one guy.
Come on.
And word of mouth pretty much is what did it. Once the guys in Denver started finding out about us and stuff, oh my God, there's a pinball place. A lot of musicians.
When did you know it was going to work?
I'm going to say that probably after about a year. I gave it a year of really, like, we were losing money big time. You know, the rent was costing us way more than we were bringing in. And I just kept seeing the excitement when someone would see it who either knew it from before, an older person that came in, oh my God, or younger people that were getting into it. Or if I went out and said, you know, if you do this and that, and watching what happened to me happen to them. And to be able to translate that is the best feeling. Something I never, all the things that people say to you in your life when you're younger, all are true, and you find that out as you get older. And one of the things is do something that you love to do. I really wish I had done that earlier, but doing something that I love to do really has made my life that much better. Not too many curmudgeons come in. I mean, there's a jerk every once in a while, but mostly people are happy coming in to play pinball, coming in to play a game. So you got decent, happy people coming in. You know you blow them away when they're leaving going, thank you, we're so happy you're here. We come from Florida, and and you just, wow. And then when the people started coming from other states, finding our website or hearing about us from somewhere, we came from where, and it blew, and then every year, we come each year, and so like those kind of things, and people thanking me for giving me their money as they leave. Is more thanks than money could ever be. It's that thing, that being that person that is providing something for them and having them thank you for it. It's just like, wow, that's more payment than anything I ever imagined.
Her name's Roxy. Hi, Roxy. Like, nose right at the camera.
Didn't allow pinball. Certain states it was illegal. Certain states didn't allow a plunger. And that's why these were created, supposedly. A state that didn't allow pinball, where it had a plunger, they created a roll down. What blows me away is that's a beautiful back glass in great shape as far as, no flaking, no breaks,
it's in beautiful shape, yeah.
And this game actually hands you the ball.
Really?
You let them in, and you push this, and you wait for your ball to arrive. And you take it, and I can't believe that this thing was in a bar and nobody threw it through that back glass at some point being pissed off. But Melody and Melody Roll were Bally's first flipper games. So this came out right after Humpty Dumpty, Gottlieb's real first flipper game. And then so they followed suit. Their flippers are just 2 and they're halfway up the playfield and they barely move. But they do something.
So how do you start the game?
So you take your ball, and this is glass, and this is glass, and you take it and slide it in between it, and it drops off the end wherever you want it to. You're trying to go 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you're not pulling a plunger. You are aiming your ball as you roll it onto the playfield.
And the difference also is that you don't have a plunger lane, so you're able to use the full width of the playfield. Interesting, they do have a Melody, and Melody has a plunger and the same playfield. It just doesn't have the roll part. So like I say, you take the ball and you just...
Melody Roll is fantastic. Your collection is fantastic. What you're doing down in Lyons is fantastic. I have to thank you so much for letting us come in and check out your collection. If you're ever in Pittsburgh, give me a holler. I'd love to have you out at the Pop facility. So
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Farfella is a Zechariah. Monaco is a Sonic, I think. Getaway, Andromeda. I think my Andromeda is responsible for Andromeda being popular right now.
Is that a 6803 I see? Was that a Strange Science with the top?
Strange Science.
Yeah,
Yes.
all right. A little Strange Science
That's a
back
Strange
there.
Science that I plan on doing what some other guy did to his in Pin Game Journal, which was to change out the flippers to Ballygliggums.
You know, I've heard about that guy. That was me.
It was you? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
You bought the game for your brother-in-law
bought
or
the game,
something like
bought
that?
the game for my brother, and
This tells you how much of a geek I am. That I
yeah.
the magazine is sitting on the